Hey everyone, it's Craig for Above and Beyond Minis here. After highlighting it in my last video, I've had a few requests in regards to how to make your own wet palette at home. It only takes a few minutes to make, and you'll hopefully have everything you need all ready to hand. So let's jump in. To make this, you're only going to need three things. First, a sealable container. Something like a Tupperware box with a lid will work fine. Next will be kitchen roll or a sponge. And then lastly some greaseproof paper, or I believe they call it parchment paper over in the States. So firstly, you're going to want to put your kitchen roll or sponge in your container. So I've got two bits there that I then fold in half, so you get quite a lot of moisture retention in there. And then just sort of stuff it in. It doesn't really need to be too accurate and like fit perfectly. It's more important that the parchment is touching the kitchen roll. So next is cutting the parchment paper down to size to fit within the container. Bit of a pro tip here, you can use the lid to roughly get an idea of the overall size of the Tupperware container. And then with that you can sort of mark it out. I suggest you cut out slightly smaller than what you marked on the lid, just to make sure it will fit nice and smoothly in the container. Because the last thing you want to do is for it to scrunch up or not fit flat, because then creases will leave areas where moisture can't reach the paints. You're going to want to make sure you top this up with water from time to time. However much that is, depends on where you are in the world really, I guess, with your conditions, if it's humid, dry, that sort of thing. Next, add in some water. Now it doesn't need to be anything fancy, tap water will be absolutely fine. You're going to want to put enough in that the kitchen roll is very wet, but you don't want it to be swimming in water. You can see me sort of angle the box there, and there's a little bit of water left over, and that will sort of distribute itself evenly over when it's laying down flat. That's as much as you're going to need. Anything more and you're going to risk getting water on top of the paper, and that will then just ruin your paints. Notice how I'm squeezing the bubbles away from the greaseproof paper here. This is due to the fact that we don't want the paint to be sat on a bubble, because then that bubble won't be moist and therefore it won't be able to give moisture back to that paint and keep it wet. So that's it, all done. Only a few minutes in real time, and this will allow you to keep your paint in a much more workable condition for much longer. It's not going to keep your paints indefinitely or anything like that. It's never going to be the perfect environment in which to keep your paints. But what it means is that if you're doing some intermediate blending, for example, have a look at the linked video, you'll be able to have a much longer working time with that paint. And that will save you then on putting more down, saving you some money as well. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.